we've now reached Wednesday, and I'm really hoping that as we continue to walk, we're both challenged, like we're all challenged, and I believe what we see today is that that challenge is going to take another step forward, because what we've seen in Luke 19 and what we're going to see here now as we move in to that final week of Jesus' life in chapter 20 is that we know, or at least been taught in church, that Jesus is the way, and yet we find it very difficult at times to allow Jesus to have his way in our lives. And you see, we're surrounded in this world, to be perfectly honest, and we know this because we live in it. It doesn't do the things for us that we thought it could or would. It never gives us the rest and peace, and if it does, it's very momentary. It's very, very small, and it always leaves you yearning for more. And so the lament from yesterday really has drawn me into this idea that here is Jerusalem. It was where the prophets came to prophesy about Jesus. It's the place where the most religious people concerning this God of the universe are assembled, and yet we see Jesus weep over it. That should raise alarm, I think, in our person. I think it should hopefully bring us to a place where we're like, okay, God, if they missed it, could there be something that I'm missing as well? Can your Spirit illuminate my heart in a way that I can all the more be used for your glory? And the answer to that is yes. And I think we get a great lesson here in chapter 20. And I'm going to pick up reading in 22. Is it lawful for us? That's verse 22, chapter 20. Is it lawful for us to give tribute to Caesar or not? But he perceived their craftiness and said to them, Show me a denarius. Whose likeness and inscription does it have? And they said, Caesar's. And he said to them, Then render to Caesar what is Caesar's, the things that are Caesar's, and then to God the things that are God's. I think this is one of the most profound lessons in the scripture, because often this is our battle. We try to ascribe things that don't have the value that they always say they have. We try to give them value more than they have, and when it doesn't end up giving us the peace and rest that we thought it should or could, when it was never meant to, we get a level of disappointment. Or in the case of rendering to God what is God's, I think we often forget that we were made through his word, his inscription. We were made with his image upon our hearts. We are image bearers. We hold the imago Dei, the image of God. And if we forget this, then we start to hand things over to people and to things that could never, ever, ever do anything with them. In fact, we find that now as we hand ourselves over to jobs or careers or to addiction or to all of these different things, the devices, you name it, we hand ourselves over to them, and we might find just momentary times of success or momentary times of peace, but ultimately we feel empty. And the main reason is we haven't given ourselves over to the one we were made for and the one we were made by. And so on this day, as we march down Holy Week, I don't want us to be Jerusalem. I don't want us to be the place in which everything, hey, it's pointing to Jesus, pointing to Jesus, pointing to Jesus. Hey, we're the most religious. We're the pinnacle of the God of the universe, and yet you missed him. I want us to be those who are able to be so surrendered. And this means what? It means give yourself over to God and see what he can do with you. It's literally what it means. Render to God what is God's. And that is your temple, not made with human hands. And so today I pray that we're able to take that step in which we know that Jesus is the way, because he's having our way with us. and that in our moments, we don't miss the opportunity to give ourselves over to God, all the new and all the more, each and every moment. God bless you guys.